When the Vital Bracelet B was announced, it looked like we would be getting the major upgrade to the Vital Bracelet series that we all wanted. Water resistance, more colors, more Digimon on each dim card, and as time went on we got teasers for various features such as increasing your stats directly through training and having more backup slots on the device. It really did seem like this would be the best Vital Bracelet yet, and now that it's here, it is safe to say that, well, it's complicated. Now if you watch this review and decide that what you are being shown looks up your alley, today's sponsor can get you hooked up. I've once again partnered with ZeninTCG, your one-stop shop for everything related to the Vital Bracelet B, including the devices, accessories, and B memory cards. While I usually only talk about the Digimon side of things, the Vital Bracelet B does support other franchises, and Zenin has stock and pre-orders for all of them, including the Angoramon, My Hero Academia Volume 2, and Tokyo Revengers B memories. If you are into Translucent Red, they of course have pre-orders up for the Tokyo Revengers special set releasing early next year, and they will also have the Dragon and Beast B memory dim pre-orders, which should be released in the second quarter of 2023. You can of course order already released products like the Digivice Dual V and the initial wave of B memories. In addition, they are offering a Christmas mystery bundle for $29.99 that will be filled with figures, keychains, plushies, and other goodies from Digimon and other franchises. Each bundle will contain at least $50 USD worth of merch, so you won't want to miss out on getting yours. As a side note, Zenin is a small store based in Singapore, so it can take a week or two for them to receive new products from Bandai after their initial release. Head to the links in the description after the review to get stocked up on everything you need. Now before I tell you what I think of this device, I want to make sure you know exactly what it is, because it can honestly be a bit confusing with so many Vital Bracelet models out. The Vital Bracelet B is the latest in Bandai's Vital Bracelet series, and up until this point there have been 4 distinct devices, 3 of which were for Digimon, and 1 for Kamen Rider and Ultraman. Most of these were released in Japan with various options to import them, but the Vital Hero was localized for North America and released with several Digimon dim cards. I actually did a review on that a few months ago. You can go check that out if you want to know more about that specific device. The Vital Bracelet B is intended to pull all of these variations together and allow for other franchises to be included on the same device. This means previously released DIM and VBM cards, which house the various characters you raise, all work with the Vital Bracelet B, no matter which franchise they come from. This also means there are no longer any differences between different bundles for the Vital Bracelet B. At the time of this review, there are currently 4 bundles released or releasing soon, including the Digimon 25th Anniversary Set, Digivice Dual V, My Hero Academia Special Set, and Tokyo Revengers Special Set. The only differences between bundles are which B memory cards come with them, and the colors of the devices themselves. You could buy the yellow My Hero Academia themed device and still use Digimon dim cards with it no problem. Or you could just buy the base black or white model, which don't come with any of the cards if you prefer those options, and use any of the available B memories with them. For this review, I will be mostly referring to things in the context of the Digimon franchise, but the experience will be similar no matter what franchise you interact with. I've mentioned B memories a few times, and these are central to the experience. These are little memory cards that you plug into the device to feed it data for whatever you want to raise. As soon as it finishes transferring, you'll be given a Digimon to raise, and it will be able to evolve into a number of different things. Each B memory can have up to 23 Digimon on it, and you can use as many different B memory cards with one device as you want. The cards also get reused anytime you want to start a new Digimon from the same card. You can just reinsert it to get a new baby. They are also used in transferring Digimon from the app to the device, so make sure you keep them safe. The original run of dim cards that were made for the previous Vital Bracelet models all work as well, though they will lack some of the functionality that B memories benefit from, such as increasing stats and receiving app abilities. While that may seem like a negative, it's honestly not that big a deal as far as normal gameplay is concerned. Overall, there's no big reason to not use your old dim cards on this new device. But one thing you should know is that Jogress evolution is no longer something that can be done just based on stage and attribute alone. For example, if you have Tobyumon on the Infinite Tide dim, and you had a Stage 4 Data Digimon in backup on the device, Tobyumon would Jogress evolve into Marine Chimeramon. This no longer occurs on the Vital Bracelet B, which does limit some evolution options. Jogress does still exist on the Vital Bracelet B, but it will only be reserved for specific Digimon combinations. For the device itself, if you were unaware, this is a fitness-based toy where you raise a Digimon. Depending on what you do over the course of several days, your Digimon will evolve into different forms. These evolutions are influenced by 3 actions: walking, squats, and battling. Walking earns you vital values as you take steps, which are called miles by the device to keep things confusing. Doing squats from the training menu will earn you PP, which is the same thing as trophies on the previous models, a stat purely used as an evolution requirement. Battles can be initiated by tapping the device to any NFC reader, such as the one on your phone, and will pit you against a random Digimon from your B memory. Winning battles will increase your vital values, while losing them will decrease vital values. Each evolution option requires a specific number of vital values, PP, battles, and in some cases, a high enough win percentage of those battles. Outside of evolution, there are 3 other types of training for punching, dashing, and crunches, which will increase AP, BP, and HP, respectively. Each training type asks you to do that exercise for a specific amount of time and rewards you based on how well you do. AP is how much damage your attacks do, BP is how likely your attacks are to land, and HP is, of course, your health. Each Digimon has a specific base amount of these stats, and each of these stats can be raised by 999 through doing these trainings. Raising stats through training, including PP, can only be done for the first 100 hours that your Digimon exists. That means as soon as it hatches, that timer starts counting down. After that point, those stats will remain where they are at as long as that Digimon exists. For longer walks or runs, there are adventure missions that ask you to walk a specific number of steps before presenting you with a boss Digimon to defeat. Not only do you get credit for vital values and the battle from doing this, but some stages of the adventure missions will reward you with new evolution paths or a new secret baby to raise. You are also free to swap Digimon around on the device at will by using the character menu. Up to 3 characters can be stored in backup at a time, and you also have a default avatar that you will set up when you first boot your device and then never ever use again, because why would you when you can raise Digimon instead? Digimon that are in backup can support you in battles when your health is low, but you can only receive support from the same franchise or card line. This means My Hero Academia characters cannot support Digimon, nor can Digimon from original DIM cards support those on B-Memory DIM cards. And that's really all there is to it. There's not a ton of functionality on the device itself, though there is app functionality that will be covered in a separate review. While Vital Bracelets are a continuation of the Digimon Virtual Pets line, I should emphasize that these do not behave like traditional V-Pets, as there is no feeding or other basic care. If you're looking for that kind of experience, I highly recommend the Digital Monster X series, which, as I always say, acts as a great companion to the Vital Bracelet. So what is different between these devices and previous ones? Well, there are quite a few differences, but I want to focus on the bigger ones. For starters, there are a ton more color options, including bands that are sold separately. Previous models didn't have nearly as much variety as the Vital Bracelet B does. The device itself has a slightly lower profile, but it's honestly not really that noticeable to me. It still feels about the same. I will say that while the Anniversary set's huge silicone cover looks ridiculous, I've actually found it very useful in protecting the device against its natural enemy, the fearsome door frame. The device also does away with checking for DIM locks, meaning that any Vital Bracelet B can use any DIM, VBM, or B memory, regardless of how many other devices it has already been used with. Training behaves very differently now, as there is no longer a daily limit. Each exercise is tied to one stat instead of all being for trophies on B memories, though original DIMs will still just reward PP, the new name for trophies, no matter which training type you choose. Tying them to stats on the B memories means that training has a lot more purpose, which is something that was sorely missing before. The fact that you can store more Digimon than before in backup is obviously very welcome, and while Jogger's evolution may have been heavily restricted, backup Digimon do still have a purpose by aiding you in battle when your health is low. The most anticipated change, though, is likely the water resistance, something that was surprising not to see in a fitness-focused device in 2021, even if it is just a toy. While touching water wouldn't necessarily kill the original Vital Bracelet, it was a risk, and that risk has been largely mitigated now thanks to some changes to the design, including better plugs for the charger port and card slot. This means you don't have to worry about minor interactions with water, but obviously you still want to avoid submerging it or going near salt water. The last big change I want to point out is that you no longer have to rely on the app for seeing how long your Digimon has left to evolve. You can see that directly on the device. Not only that, but you can see the requirements for every potential evolution for your current Digimon. As a guide maker, I am shocked and appalled by this inclusion, and can't believe something so horrible exists in a Digimon device. But I'm pretty sure most people will love this addition. An easy to miss change is that your player stats have been moved to the lower button on the home screen, and they now let you look back up to 3 days to see your steps and how many of each exercise you did. All in all, these are largely great welcome changes, and you can find more details about specific operations on the manual page at digitamahatchery.com. Now, this is the part of the video where I would like to say that this is the best Vital Bracelet yet, but before I say something like that, we do have to talk about some of the negatives on this thing. First and foremost, in case you were hoping that this Vital Bracelet would be any better of a fitness device, sorry, it's not. The heart rate sensor is still basically useless for getting an accurate read, and honestly checking your pulse on the bee isn't even worth it now that it's been buried away in the settings menu. The step counter is just as inaccurate as well, and the method for detecting exercises remains dodgy. I will emphasize, Bandai does not claim this device as being medically accurate in any way, and in fact makes it clear in the manual that it is a toy, not a proper fitness tracker. Just keep that in mind. The way stats are handled is also problematic, as a lot of people have been noticing that battles in the B memory DIMs are much harder. I haven't seen any internal data to back up any claims as of yet, but my current theory is that the same battle formula from previous devices is still being used, and why wouldn't it be? But this creates a problem because younger Digimon on B memories have much higher stats compared to original DIM cards. For example, Octomon, a Stage 4 Virus Digimon on Infinite Tide, has 20 DP, while Plesiomon, a Stage 6 Data, has 70. Because Octomon has the advantage, it gets a slight boost to hit chance, but still only has a 27.22% chance of its attacks connecting. Compare this to the Gammamon B memory, where Cannondramon has 6500 BP and Beetle Gammamon has 5200. Even with Beetle Gammamon's attribute disadvantage, it still has a 39.44% chance to hit Cannondramon, which is way too high for fighting a Digimon 2 evolutionary stages above itself with a disadvantage. I've experienced this firsthand, and it is very frustrating to say the least. Bandai even might have known you would lose a lot more, because the highest win percentage requirements for evolution have been reduced to 60% from 70%. The support system definitely helps you, but you can't necessarily rely on that. Battles also remain pretty boring overall, because just like before, they have no user input. It is wild to me that Digimon VPETs have come up with various ways for players to influence battles, starting all the way back with the Digimon Pendulum, but the Vital Bracelet series completely abandons this concept and returns us to a system no better than the original Digital Monster in 1997. If you don't stop the meter at the right point on a Digital Monster X, you get weaker attacks and might lose because of that, but you understand that loss is justified even against a weaker enemy. If you constantly lose to weaker enemies and can do literally nothing about it, that's not an enjoyable experience. I could say another gripe is the new app, but that is definitely its own video for sure. The last negative piece I will say is that adventure missions have been completely ruined on the Bee, and I know that sounds hyperbolic, but I'll present the scenario and let you decide how you feel. I live in Florida and enjoy going to Universal Studios, and every time I have gone since getting my first Vital Bracelet, I have taken it with me. I would have a strong Digimon ready to go and would start adventure missions at the beginning of the day. As the day progressed, it would meet the step count, fight the boss Digimon, win, and then go on to the next area and repeat. This would all happen automatically. Or sometimes it would lose and start the area over, but either way, most of the time I wouldn't even notice this happening because there's no way you can hear sound coming from your wrist in a theme park. I would get through huge chunks of adventure missions this way, which would allow me to unlock the evolution routes at the end of each one. Sounds ideal, right? So here's how it works now. My mom holds 2 piano recitals a year, and since I live close by, I go and help her do AV setup for these. AV setup involves a fair amount of walking, so this was a real good opportunity to really test adventure missions. Sure enough, I did get around 4,000 steps from the time I started the mission, and that should have gotten me through 2 or 3 areas, but here's the kicker. The device no longer starts the battle with a boss at the end of the mission until you confirm it to do so. Those first 3,500 steps I did, where I was the most busy and definitely not thinking to look back at my watch every 10 minutes, were mostly wasted, because it would not progress until I stopped what I was doing and told it to fight. So now if you really want to do adventure missions in any kind of efficient manner, you better set a few timers so you don't forget to check for a battle. Despite my complaints, I do think this is a perfectly fine next entry, but being just fine is what's so disappointing. All the intentional upgrades are great, and I think this device improves upon its predecessors in several key ways. It's just very frustrating that some of these improvements seem to have come at the cost of downgrading some other mechanics. Even beyond that, I don't find myself liking this device any more than previous Vital Bracelets, so it's hard to say that this is something you should definitely upgrade to. Now, if you haven't bought a Vital Bracelet at all yet, this is easily the one you should go for. There's no reason to buy an older model instead. I can easily recommend this to you. I would say if you've bought a Vital Bracelet in the past 8 months and still have plenty of DIM cards to go through, don't feel like you need to rush out and get this. Now, at some point, an upgrade will be necessary for you, purely because of compatibility, as there aren't going to be new DIM cards coming out for previous bracelets. Everything is B memories moving forward, and those will only work on a Vital Bracelet B. Now, if any of the features I talked about sound like they are must-haves to you, then sure, go nuts. But don't buy this expecting it to provide some big new experience. Those are my thoughts, of course, but to other owners of the device, please share your thoughts in the comments. Many people watching this video will be doing so to help them make a decision, and having more viewpoints tends to help out. Do you love it? Do you hate it? If it wasn't your first Vital Bracelet, do you think it was worth the upgrade? What improvements would you like to have seen? As for me, I'll be recording a separate video on the Vital Bracelet Arena app and all that implies. Until next time, bye!